Hello, my crafty friends. Welcome to Stamp with Teah. I am Teah Woodward, an independent demonstrator with Stampin' Up, located in Vancouver, Washington, in the United States. And I am happy to be here today. I have a card to share with you, just one card. I made this card using the Christmas season stamp set that's in the annual catalog, and I used some of the coordinating dies that go with that too, and I'll tell you about that as I'm crafting along. I'll give you those details. So I normally am on YouTube Live at this time, and I'm taking a course right now that suggested I split up my YouTube Live and my Facebook Lives. And so I haven't done a Facebook Live in a while because there were some issues with the platform. And so I had gone straight to just YouTube Lives and did those exclusively. But I understand that it's recommended that I give a try to do a mix. So I'm going to do Mondays. If this works today, I'm going to do Mondays as a Facebook Live and then it will still get uploaded to YouTube. It's just an extra step that I have to go through. And then on Thursdays, I will be staying with my YouTube Lives. So just to give you an explanation as to why I shifted gears a little bit, and I didn't send it out in a newsletter or anything ahead of time. So that's what that's all about. There's only one matter of business for me to go over with anybody right now, and that would be that there is a joining special. And besides there being a joining special, if you join Stampin' Up, you get 20% off on your craft supplies when you make purchases. And that's a really phenomenal deal. It's, I don't know about you, but I'm constantly looking to save even 5% on anything that I can these days. So the 20%, I'm sorry, I've got one stray hair that's coming down and sticking in my lipstick. Anyway, so there's that. In this month, the promotion is, so normally they have a joining promotion of for $99. You spend $99, you get free shipping on that order, and you get $125 worth of products of your choice. This month it's $155 worth of products of your choice. So that's a good deal. And for example, just going to kind of give you a little eyeball here of what potentially $155 would look like. So there's like a 12 by 12 pack of designer series paper, maybe a pack of cardstock, some note cards and envelopes, I'm going to lose my grip here, 2 stamp sets, and a set of dies, maybe a 6 by 6 pack of glimmer paper, ribbon, embellishments, 2 blender packs, mini glue dots, adhesive, and dimensionals. That's a lot of stuff for $155, and you would only spend $99 to get it. So you do the math, you figure out if that's a good deal to you or not, if that's worth considering the joining. Everything, it's different for everybody, right? But in my book, that's a phenomenal deal. And let me get all this out of the way. That was the only piece of business I was going to talk about. Would let you know though, if you joined under me, my team is the Paper Blessings. Darn it, this hair is right in my, the Paper Blessings. We get together once a month via Zoom, It's easy peasy. You do it from the comfort of your home. I have people from all over the United States. Well, a couple of people that I have at the moment are from, I've got one in Oklahoma and I've got one in Vancouver. And I won't have to change anything. I'll be relocating to the Tri-Cities area, and we won't have to change anything because we're already doing it on Zoom. And one of the things that we do, it's just for fun, right? Like, you don't have to run a business if you don't want to. The two people that are on my team, they're hobby demonstrators. One of the things that we do just to kind of keep everybody interested is we do a color challenge each month, and just flashing up a couple here, examples. They don't have to be as complicated as what I do, and I'll show you exactly what I mean by that. Here was my last month. I was sick, and this is all I was able to pull off. And that's fine. What we do is we stamp and we share with each other, and that's once a month. And then I give business updates. If you want any training, I will be happy to provide that training. So that's my one piece of business that I was going to talk about. And now we can get into making a card. You want to make a card? I want to make a card because that's what I like to do. I like to craft. And I have a fun little technique to show you in making this card. And so I'm going to go ahead and turn the camera down. And there we go. And snap that into place. There we go. All right, so here's the card that we're going to make. And I'll improve it a little bit. I'm going to scooch these down and move these up. I'm going to adjust this just slightly, but this is basically the card, and it opens like such. And that's the card we're going to make today. Here is the stamp set. And you'll notice that there's no sentiments in this stamp set, so I'm pulling sentiments from Trimming the Tree. The outside I've used the Sending Christmas Cheer, and on the inside I've used May Your Season Be Merry and Bright. That's all I'm using from this stamp set are the sentiments. Then for these pine cones that are layered die cuts, I am pulling from the Christmas Pine Cone dies. And now later this week, I'm going to be, on Thursday, I'm going to be presenting 3 more cards using these same dies and stamps. Okay? But today, I'm just using these pine cones here from the dies. So one of the first things that I'm going to do, well, first of all, I'm going to show you our card base. Our card base is 4 1/4. Sorry, I'm doing the math in my head real quick. Let me do this. So it was 4 that's the wrong one. It was 4 1/4 by 11, scored at 5 1/2. And then I cut off 2 3/4 inches. Okay. So this is like a normal half a sheet of cardstock, scored, and then cut off 2 3/4. And we're actually going to use that. That's the piece that's going to sit right here on the front. So we're not wasting it. And then I have an additional piece that's on the inside of the same dimension. Looks like I bent that one. Let me grab another one. That is 2 3/4 by 4 1/4. So we've got both of those. We've got our card base. Then the mat on the inside is 4 by 5 1/4. And our mat that's on the outside, that's behind our 2 3/4 by 4 1/4. Now I'm second guessing myself. I had this all memorized. Oh yeah, so 4 1/2 by 3, I believe. Yep, by 3. So that is, that's our cardstock there. I take that back. We do have one more that it looks like I did not cut. Well, that's silly. There's always something, right? So it'll be 4 1/4 by 2 1/2. It'll be 4 by 2 1/2. And let me just cut that real quick. Let me see if this piece is big enough. So this one is 4. Give me 2 1/2. All right. And there's our last little piece of cardstock. So this piece we're actually going to emboss, and I'm going to set these aside, and we're going to use the embossing folder. It's one of 2 embossing folders from its Wintry 3D embossing folders. I'm going to use the tree branches. You can see there's a snowflake and there's tree branches. I'm going to use the tree branches. And I'm actually going to ink up the inside of the back here. Protect my table. I'm just going to lay down a piece of grid paper. I'm going to open up my ink, and I'm just going to slide my ink right over that embossing folder, and that's plenty good. I only have a piece this big, but I wanted to make sure I had good coverage, that I didn't actually end up with an empty spot. I am going to lay this down, being careful not to smudge it, not to move it around. There we go. Bring in my mini cut and emboss machine. Everything that I'm doing today, you can use the mini for. If you have the big one, that's fine too. Just going to run that through. Open that up. And I'm actually using the back side. That's the side that I like the definition on. Here's the front side. And if you were to color the front side, this is what it would look like. This is the look that you would get. But I wanted the definition on the needles. And that's what it would look like if it was not inked. And this is what it looks like inked. So that is what we are doing for the front of this card. This can just be run under cold water and dried, and you're good to go again. All right. Next, so we've got the piece that's going to be on the front of the card. Let's see, do I have this where you can see it? So that's going to sit there. This is our cardstock that is the mat on the inside. We're going to take a minute to stamp that. And let me get my stamp back on here. And I am going to be doing some stamping off on my grid paper. Make sure my chair is out of the way here. I'm standing now. And all right. So I am using shaded spruce. And I am doing a stamp off, and then I'm stamping in the corners. And I feel that I just stuck my hand in my ink. I did, because I do that really well. I'm going to do one in the center. I just want a very subtle effect. That's why I'm doing all the stamping off. They do not need to match exactly from corner to corner. All right. Then I am just going to take, I'm double checking what I did here, and stamp off, and I'm just going to do a double in the centers here. And then just singles. I just keep sticking my hand right in that ink, so I'm going to have to wipe that off before I go any farther, because I'm going to contaminate something if I don't. So can you see I've just done some subtle fir branches here to coordinate with our fir branches here. Close this, well, I'll close that up in just a second. I'm going to wipe my hand off. I'm just going to use my chamois to run my hands over and make sure I don't have any rogue ink that I'm going to transfer over to anything else. And I had gotten really messy on my entire block, so I'm wiping that off. I'm bringing over my card front, and I am going, again, doing some stamp off. And the reason I'm stamping off is I am going to be doing some holly leaves in full strength color. There we go. And I want there to be a difference in the appearance. And just kind of creating my little frame here. I actually think that looks pretty good. Going to take off my fir branch, and I'm going to put on my, okay, this is the one that goes on the inside, so I will switch to, there we go. I'm looking for it. So here are my holly leaves. And my holly leaves, see there's a couple little blank spots? That is engineered into the stamp set. Into the stamp, kind of a vintage look. I'm going to pull these back a little further than what I had them on my original card. Clean that off. Excuse me. Get a little drink. Going to close up my shaded spruce, and I had played with the idea. I didn't actually, excuse me, I had not actually tested this ahead of time, so I might be kind of going out on a limb here, but I had thought about, let me just see what this color looks like, of stamping some soft seafoam alongside to create like a shadow effect. You know, I think I might like that. I think I'm going to go for it. So I'm kind of lining up my bottom points. Here we go. Oh, how interesting. It picked up my, that's irritating. It picked up my shaded spruce. So I'm going to be putting, I might be able to salvage this. I'm going to be putting some pine cones, and let me see. I haven't assembled these yet. I have die cut them ahead of time. Never a dull moment let's see. I can cover that flubby up. So that's going to be okay. All right. Note to self though. Okay, before I attach these pine cones, I do want to stamp my sentiment, because if that goes crooked, I'm going to have to restamp all of that. So I am going to use Real Red, and my sentiment is Sending Christmas Cheer. And it's always, let's see, if I look in the camera, how far, okay, there. I can get that kind of right underneath me, so I have a better chance of getting this straight. That's fine. That's going to work. All right, that makes me happy. I'm gonna, before I stamp the inside, I'm just gonna go ahead and assemble this outside. So what I've done, let me turn this over so it's not so distracting for you. Actually, is that straight? It's straight enough. Gosh, I think. Let me get a mat on that. It's actually just a little crooked, isn't it? Trying to decide if I'm going to get away. I think I'm going to get away with it. Okay, so I die cut the, let me open this back up and show you. I die cut the background out of soft suede, and I die cut the detail dies out of Early Espresso. When I die cut those Early Espresso detail dies, I put adhesive sheet on the back of the cardstock, so turning this into a sticker. So I don't have to use glue. I just have to pull off the backing, and can you see the adhesive that's stuck on there? So it's all die cut together. And I just need to line this up. Let's see. There we go. So pine cone number 1, which is going to go right there and save my little color flubby. And now 2 more. So you just line up the bottoms and push them down. It's really quite that easy. And again, just line up the bottom, and I realize I'm getting quite a shadow. From my light. Let me see if I can adjust that light a little bit. A little bit. Okay. So I am going to put this up on dimensionals. And I'm going to use 2. When I say 2, I mean next to each other, not stacked. I'm going to stack them though on my little pine cones. I'm going to stick this right up here. And then I'm going to put 2 dimensionals on the back of each of these pine cones. And so I put 1 down, I pull the backer off, and I put another right on top of it. Well, hi, Sonia. Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thank you, and welcome. Welcome to my live video today. All right, and stacking those. So now these are a little taller than my first pine cone. And let's see how I want to do that. There, there's going to be a bow right here, so it's okay that there's a white gap. And just playing with this for a second until I feel like it's laying out right. And you can see the original card here. So there's one. One more. And there's one. Clear this off. Then I'm going to tie my bow out of, so for my bow, I'm using the Real Red that comes in the Real Red and Garden Green 3/8 inch ribbon combo pack. That's from the mini catalog. Just going to tie a quick bow. To stick down in the corner. So this is going to sit right up in here, like that. I'm going to use a mini glue dot to attach that. And actually, before I do that, I better secure this to the mat, right? Once I start getting too many layers on there, it gets hard to get it centered. So I'm just going to use my green glue, my multi-purpose adhesive. And wiggle that into place so that it's nice and centered. All right, now I can use my mini glue dot. Get that. Oh, did I just do that backwards? I did. Let's see if I can pull that off. Let's try that again. Mini glue dot on the other side of the ribbon. There we go. On the back side of the knot. There we go. Much better. So now we are ready to start assembling part of our card. I guess I could stamp that first. We're really close to done with this card. I mean, once this is stamped, everything else is just like adhere it together. So this is the sentiment for the inside. And because this piece is not that big, I'm not actually adding any additional embellishment to it. Oftentimes I do, but this is sitting in a wide band we've already pre-stamped. So with any luck, This will be straight. Ooh, not bad. It's a little to one side, but I think that's very acceptable. All right, we're now going to take, everything is stamped, everything is inked. I'm going to take that card base that I already gave you dimensions for. So this was 4¼ by 11, and then I scored it at 5½ and cut off 2¾ inches. And we're using the 2¾ inches that we cut off was being used on the front. So that's 2¾ by 4¼ So I'm going to grab my bone folder. I am now going to take that piece that I embossed and used that ink on the inside of the folder, and I'm going to adhere it to this front right here. So like I said, Thursday will be YouTube, and I will be demonstrating 3 cards using these same products. So the Christmas season and the dies. I'm not sure where I will pull the sentiments from yet, but you can use whatever sentiments you've got. All right, so our embossed piece is on. Just going to turn that over and give it a little squish. And so I want to mention again that I am using the back side of the embossing folder as my front. So if you weren't with me in the beginning, where it says Stampin' Up, that front flap, that flap is your front. That's your face, normal face side. That's their intended face side. I'm using the back as my face on this. So if I were to do, so here's the back, there's the front inked up. Both are nice. I just happen to prefer the back. Okay, I'm going to open this up. Adhere this mat, just center it on the inside of the back of the card. That looks pretty straight to me. I'm so excited for the cooler weather to be finally getting here. My husband and I were just talking last night about planning our meal for Halloween. Our meal is always chili and cornbread, and it's usually the first time of the season that we've made it. And definitely this time, because I mean we've still been in 80 degree temps here in Vancouver, Washington. But our cooler weather is finally going to be here. So I'm just going to center my inner card, center it from top to bottom and side to side. Ish. Close that down. Then I'm going to take this front piece that we've stamped and assembled, and I'm going to put dimensionals only on half of the back. So I don't want to put them on this half. I don't want to put them on the right hand half because then the card wouldn't open up, right? But I am going to put them on the left hand so that the card will open up like this. Oops. Let's see here. So have you been working on your Christmas cards yet? I have. I have a lot that I have to make, so I have to start early. I started in August. Actually, it might have been July. And I'm just going to open this up and, ooh, I'm right on the edge right there on that dimensional. Very close. All right. Throw on some gems. I'm going to pull from the Red Rhinestone Basic Jewels. Going to use my Take Your Pick tool. There it is. And I like to use the clay tip on the, so you've got your pointy end and then you've got your clay tip end. And I like to, it's coming out. I just had to give it a little squeeze or a little twist. And let's see if I just do one up there and one over here and one over here. And our card is done. This was an easy one. This was super quick. So 1 layer of dimensionals behind the big pine cone, 2 layers of dimensionals behind the small pine cones. So again, I was using the Christmas season stamp set and the coordinating Christmas pine cone dies. I just used these smaller dies. On Thursday, you will see at least 1 card, probably 2, using the bigger dies. Let's see, what else can I tell you? The colors that I used were Shaded Spruce, Soft Sea Foam, and Real Red. And then Shaded Spruce and Early Espresso on the pine cones. Sorry about that. Anyway, I hope I showed you a technique or two in here that you can apply to your stamp making. Thank you so much for joining me. And, oh, hi, Sandra. Oh my gosh, so good to see your name pop up. And thank you. I'm glad that you like it. Thank you for joining me. And I will see you all soon. Bye. Hugs.